This section of eating animals was mostly about how the way that animal food process works isn't just a way that is absolutely cruel to animals in itself, but how it really has a ridiculous health implications on humans who eat these animals. Um, I had I got the swine flu about 5 years ago, and it was absolutely horrible. I spent a week in my bed not being able to move, feeling like I was about to die, and it was basically the worst week of my life. So it was actually really interesting to read in this chapter more and more about how influenza, one of the most common colds and like plagues of society, is really comes mostly from birds and pigs. Um, it was really a lot of chapters saying how these mutations and these germs in the birds, once they go airborne, they can infect humans, and that's when it spreads and it just jumps over to each person, and it's extremely contagious. And yeah, that's sort of the flu epidemics that we see every year. And so, but basically, what this chapter also does is, while bringing into mind this illness that we are so used to almost, but we all hate. Like, who doesn't hate having the flu? It also shows how the food process is neglecting this, and if it's just logical. If we get flu from swine, from pigs and chicken, and this animal process place has, as quoted here in the book, 33,000 chickens in a tiny space in mass production, well, it's just adding 2 plus 2. If you have so many animals mistreated in such conditions, they're going to start catching diseases, and those animals with those diseases are the ones that we consume every year, every day. And so, of course, like the the flu and the sicknesses among people like starts increasing dramatically. It's sort of, I can't help comparing this to what is happening right now with the measles crisis, about how people are refusing, like because of simple ignorance, a lot of people refused or chose not to have their children vaccinated, and now in Disneyland and in other places around the world, people are being faced with like a huge mass spread of measles because people who weren't vaccinated for measles catch it like that. And you think about it, it's like this whole problem, which is actually escalating quite quickly, could have been prevented by people simply thinking clearly and saying, I'm going to vaccinate my kid because that's the right and healthy way to do things, instead of just avoiding it because of some rumors that have no implications on the reality of vaccinations, and then it all resulting in a mass spread of measles. So if you think about it, like, those things are just absolutely ridiculous. But so is this. If so many people are infected by the fact that our animals, the animals that we consume, are put in such horrible life conditions, then adding 2 plus 2 means that we shouldn't keep doing this. It's as simple as that. It just goes past the moral sense and just to the logical. Making money faster shouldn't be a reason to put people's health, like the world's health, at crisis. Here in the book it says that about 76 million Americans became ill from their food annually that promote antimicrobial resistance and also contribute to the risk of a pandemic. 76 million people. All of them just in the cause of, like, just so that they could get chicken cheaper. Chickens that are put into these completely insane conditions of life. And also, another part that it says here is that we normally hear about what's called the stomach flu. That's like this 24-hour virus and such, that it just comes and goes, and then, like, oh, I'm fine already. And yeah, we take it to be okay, yes, just a normal flu. But actually, here in the book, Foer explains that in reality, most of these 24-hour stomach flus or whatever are a direct cause from a type of food poisoning, like having eaten animals, like chickens mostly, that have been in the process have been either like so poorly treated and cooked and just messed up with all the conditions that they're put in. It's just ridiculous, and that is causing extreme health risks to people. And so yeah, it's simply an insane idea that we just keep insisting and doing this just so we can save a bit of more money and have more chicken. But in truth, it's not only putting all those animals at risk, but putting ourselves at risk too. Um, a vocab word that I chose out of this one was the word etymologically, and etymological means the history of words. Now how their form and meaning have changed. So this was important in this chapter because it really helped explain the word influenza and how that sickness that we're so used to is really also like a derivative of all that connects to this story of eating animals and the morality behind it. And so, well, that's it for today. Thank you.